The second point I want you to note is something I call the priority of a leader. When Moses went into the tent, Moses always went into the tent. He formed a habit of going into the tent. When Moses went into the tent, all the people rose up and stood, every man at his tent door, and they looked at Moses until he entered the tent. I want you to note this. Moses knew that he could not be effective as a leader without inquiring of God. You cannot be effective as a leader without inquiring of God. And because Moses knew that, he formed the habit of going into the tent for that purpose. Let me tell you, it's one thing to pitch a tent. It is something else to go into the tent to meet with God. How many of us have prepared prayer rooms that we've never been able to use? How many of us have talked of going to the mountains, but we've never actually been able to do that? Moses pitched a tent, and Moses had the discipline of a leader because he knew a leader must prioritize his time with the Lord. The second thing I'd like you to see here, the people that Moses led, they looked at him every time he went into the tent. They all knew when their leader was going to spend time with God. They all knew when their leader was going to consult God. And they knew how much time their leader spent because, they would watch. And I kept to speak to some leaders tonight and tell you this. Perhaps you're a leader because you're a husband or you're a father of these children and this wife. Or perhaps you're a leader because you're a pastor, as I am. Perhaps you're a leader because you're a leader in church. You could be a deacon, you could be whatever. You are leading the praise and worship team. I came to tell you this, that the people you're leading are watching you. And they desire you to spend much time with the Lord. They desire to see intimacy between you and God. You know, one thing I have learned in ministry, fortunately or unfortunately, whether you like it or not, there are people who peg their faith on your faith. They peg your faith on the pastor's walk with God. There are people who peg their faith on daddy's and mommy's walk with God. They are depending on you. I'm not saying encourage them to depend on you, but I came to challenge you tonight. Stand in the gap for them. Pray for them. I came to challenge some leaders tonight. The people you're leading are watching you. They are expecting you to be even more intimate with God than they are with their God. You cannot hide. They see it. You know, something interesting I've realized with spiritual things. If your walk with God is not there, it will show. You cannot show up and fake it. If you've not been in the secret place, it will show. If you've not been on the mountain, there's nothing to offer the children of God. You can only offer as much as you have. A man can give nothing other than what he has, other than what is given him from above. You need to wait on God. You need to spend time with God. You need to be endowed with something that you can give that something to people. The people you're leading, they are watching you. The stakes are high, but the Lord has given us grace to seek Him.